The major news broadcasted across the entire world yesterday was the arrest of Julian Assange after spending 7 years in diplomatic protection inside the Ecuadorian embassy in London. He was arrested by the London police, where he is being charged by the United States for crimes against the state. The founder of Wikileaks, the man who brought us a great deal of the unethical actions, the murderous nature of imperialism, who brought us that footage and let the entire world know what was happening. The video, which has become known as collateral murder, has finally been arrested, and is going to be extradited to the United States. Under the previous leftist government of Rafael Herreras, he got some protection from the United States. He was allowed to stay inside the embassy and be protected, and there were alleged attempts on his life, etc. But all that now has come to an end. Right now he has been arrested and awaiting extradition to the United States. Now what he's facing in the U.S. is a conspiracy to commit computer intrusion. Now this is very significant. This is a rather light crime that he's being charged with compared to what he's been accused of by the United States. Previously, they've accused him of treason when he's not even an American. It was one of the famous ones that Sarah Palin used, and many other Republicans, calling him a traitor for a country that he was never a part of. He's been accused of terrorism, even aiding terrorists, because supposedly, and according to their own allegations, that information that has been released by Wikileaks have gotten U.S. soldiers killed. Although when he challenged them on it, not a single person was able to reply. He asked, name me one person who has been killed as a result of Wikileaks releasing information. Name one soldier that's died. Not one. They were completely unable to give an example. The smear campaign against Julian Assange has taken its toll on him and even the public. So this news that he's being given a conspiracy to commit computer intrusion is very light. While it is a very serious crime, it is light compared to what he's been accused of and what politicians in the United States have liked to charge him with. Espionage, spying for Russia, of course, because everything always has to do with Russia for some reason. So this is at least some kind of good news. I mean, it's still a terrible crime that he's being charged with, and he's going to suffer immensely for it. But there is at least one possible ray of sunshine. Of course, we can probably consider Julian Assange to be royally screwed. I mean, we know that I suspect that the United States will probably try to have him executed, even though that's not the punishment that's called for, but for the amount of embarrassment that the United States has suffered as a result of their own actions. They'll very, very likely be looking to not just get revenge on him for all of it, but to set an example for any journalists in the future that would release embarrassing information that the United States, the crimes that the United States has committed. Remember that this whole thing was about U.S. soldiers deliberately targeting and killing 2 journalists because they were covering things that they didn't want them to know about. And that was the video that was eventually leaked, called the collateral murder video, and that everybody found out about. But since that time, Wikileaks has released more information that was also embarrassing. Now here's a quick rundown of some of the things that have been released. France pushed for invading Libya in 2001 because they wanted to gain a greater share of Libyan oil production and to prevent Gaddafi from establishing a rival currency called the gold dinar. This was leaked in 2016. U.S. and British Special Forces, the SOF teams, were training opposition forces inside of Syria to commit guerrilla attacks, assassination campaigns against the Syrian government from the very first year of the conflict in 2011. This was leaked in 2012. Saudi Arabia in early 2012 was committed to overthrowing the Syrian government according to a leaked memo of theirs which stated that must seek by all means available in all possible ways to overthrow the current regime in Syria. This was leaked in 2015. The U.S. was discussing plans in 2006 to play on Sunni fears of Iranian influence in order to destabilize the Syrian government in coordination with the Saudi monarchy. This was leaked in 2016. According to Hillary Clinton's U.S. State Department aide Jake Sullivan in 2012, the fall of the House of Assad could well ignite a sectarian war between Shiites and the majority Sunnis of the region, drawing in Iran, which, in the view of Israeli commanders, would not be a bad thing for Israel and its Western allies. This was leaked in 2018. And what is possibly the most damaging of all, according to Hillary Clinton's U.S. State Department aide Jake Sullivan, Al-Qaeda is on our side in Syria. This was leaked in 2017. With all of these embarrassing leaks, the real face of imperialism, the real face of the U.S. empire, what it does stands so in such stark contrast to what it is we're fed in the media. We are told that this is about ousting the alleged dictator Assad, who carried out his alleged chemical attacks. What has been released on Wikileaks has shown us a very different picture of what it is that we've been given. That this has been a political maneuver by the United States, Saudi Arabia, and Israel to oust a government that is resistant to their interests, essentially refusing to bow to them and essentially turn their country and resources over to them. Time and time again, we are faced with the reality of what imperialism is, what it is that the U.S. Army really does, what the CIA's real function is, what it is that the Pentagon is actually responsible for. And yet, in the end, we are given nothing but pleasantries, denials, and more people running for Congress, running for the House, running for president that talk a big game about ending this, but then never do. And each time this comes up, we're told it's going to be different this time. Bernie Sanders is not like them. Tulsi Gabbard is not like them. It's going to be different this time. And yet, every single time, the people who believe them are betrayed. But every single time they think it's going to be different this time with this person. People like AOC, they claim, oh, this is going to be the anti-war stuff that we've been sort of on our periphery, not really paying attention, because identity politics has been more important to First Worldism, getting the minimum wage raised, etc. But they keep saying this is going to be it, and then it never is. But each time, it's going to be different this time. Despite all of that, we're not us, but the victims of the U.S. empire are condemned to repeat the same history over and over again because the people of the United States don't learn from that history. Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. That would be when Americans don't learn from their own history, others are doomed to repeat it. So this is a terrible day, or yesterday, today, what have you, is a terrible day for journalism. Journalists across the entire world should be outraged at this. If this isn't the greatest abuse of, the United States power against journalism, freedom of the press, freedom of speech, then what is? You can tell a person's position, what their real politics is, if they're against him being arrested. They're probably thinking along the right direction. If they're celebrating his arrest or reporting it as a right thing that's finally been done, then they're a fake. Then they are nothing more than establishment liberals pretending to be against a system of oppression. And I think you know who you are. All we can do now is hope for Julian Assange. You can donate to his legal fund to try to help navigate the corrupt U.S. judicial system for all the good it will do, but it's certainly worth trying. But I don't think we can look at this as anything less than a terrible black day for freedom of speech and journalism in the world. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.